You will never rise beyond the level of your financial discipline. Wealth doesn't come to the talented. Wealth doesn't come to the lucky. Wealth comes to the prepared. Money rewards management, not wishes. You do not get rich by accident. You get rich because you treat every dollar like a decision, every expense like a strategy, and every opportunity like a test you refuse to fail. Wealth is not out there, floating in some future you hope lands in your lap. It is built right here, with your habits, your priorities, your discipline. Wealth comes to the prepared. And now, it's your turn to prove you're prepared. Chapter 1. Stop hoping, start preparing. Hope wishes, preparation wins. Hope feels good. Preparation works. Hope is emotional. Preparation is structural. Hope dreams. Preparation builds. You have a choice. Most people spend their lives hoping the raise comes, hoping the debt disappears, hoping the opportunity shows up with their name engraved on the envelope. But let's be brutally clear. You cannot spend hope. You cannot invest hope. You cannot deposit hope. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is surrender disguised as optimism. The emotional trap of hoping. Hope is emotional, and emotions are unstable architects. They build castles that collapse at the first wave of inconvenience. Hope says, when the timing is right, I'll start. Preparation says, the timing will be right because I started. That's the key. Hope convinces you to wait. Preparation commands you to act. Hope keeps you passive. Preparation positions you powerfully. You don't need their permission. You never did. You never will. Every time you choose hope over preparation, you tell the universe you're not serious. You say, I want wealth, but only if it's convenient. You say, I want success, but as long as I don't have to change. You say, I want the prize, but not enough to carry the weight of training. Hope is cheap. Preparation is expensive, but only one of them pays. The structural power of preparation. Preparation is structural. Preparation is not a mood, it is math. Preparation does not care if you're tired. Preparation does not negotiate with excuses. Preparation is a calendar, a spreadsheet, a plan, a commitment. It is unromantic, unexciting, and undeniable. It is the adult in the room when your emotions throw tantrums. Preparation is mission over mood, mission over impulse, mission over distraction. You have a choice. Make the mission the priority. That's the key. If you prepare every week with structure, your future changes. Not magically, not instantly, but permanently. Preparation is the quiet investment that becomes the loud return. Two people, same paycheck, different futures. Picture two people, same job, same income, same rent cost, same expenses, same paycheck. One prepares, one hopes. Person A gets paid and immediately assigns every dollar a job. Savings first, debt second, investment third, lifestyle last. Person A built systems because systems don't need motivation to repeat. Person B gets paid and celebrates because payday feels like permission. Permission to relax, permission to reward, permission to escape. Person B buys relief instead of results. Person A prepares for the month. Person B survives the month. Person A is building wealth. Person B is financing distractions. Same paycheck, different outcomes. Hope wishes. Preparation wins. The universe pays those who act like their future matters. Whether you call it God, the universe, luck, or just statistics, the principle is the same. Life promotes the prepared. When you carry preparation like armor, opportunity treats you differently. It sees you. It recognizes you. It trusts you. Doors open faster for people who look like they know what they're doing. Not because of talent, not because of charisma, because preparation eliminates chaos and communicates competence. You don't need their permission. You need preparation. It's not about confidence. It's about discipline. Confidence is a feeling. Discipline is a fact. Confidence says, I think I can handle it. Discipline says, I built the systems that guarantee I will. What preparation actually looks like. Preparation is not complicated. Preparation is clarity. Preparation is decision. Preparation is sacrifice. Preparation looks like a written budget, a spending freeze when necessary, a savings percentage set in stone, a debt attack with fury and consistency, a refusal to buy applause, a refusal to finance your insecurities, a refusal to compete with anyone except your future self. Preparation looks like grown-up decisions made before emotions wake up. Because once emotions arrive, logic has already lost. Preparation is the version of you who takes your future seriously, more seriously than your entertainment, your cravings, or your comfort. You have a choice. Prepare daily or pay forever. The discipline of acting like you matter. Preparation is a declaration of worth. You prepare because you matter. You prepare because your future matters. You prepare because your family deserves better than survival mode. Stop living like nothing is coming. Start building like everything is coming. The universe pays those who act like their future matters. When you prepare, you speak the language of potential. You negotiate from strength. You attract alignment. You earn respect, first from yourself, then from the world. Preparation changes you before it changes your environment. Preparation transforms identity before it transforms finances. Because when you prepare, you become the kind of person wealth can trust. The end of excuses. Excuses are what hopeful people make. Preparation kills excuses on impact. Preparation makes failure uncomfortable and success inevitable. You are not waiting for motivation. Motivation is waiting for you. You are not waiting for inspiration. Inspiration appears when you start moving. You are not waiting for certainty. Certainty comes from small results repeated loudly across time. Hope asks for miracles. Preparation demands proof. And proof arrives in progress, not perfection. Hope brought you to the idea of wealth. Preparation will take you to the reality of it. Hope is emotional. Preparation is structural. Hope wishes. Preparation wins. This is the foundation. This is the blueprint. This is the discipline the wealthy practice without applause and without permission. Now that your preparation has begun, there is another truth you must understand. Money doesn't move for the unprepared. Money moves first for the disciplined. Chapter 2. Money moves first for the disciplined. Precision pays. Money does not respond to the emotional. Money responds to the disciplined. Money moves first for the people who act like it has already arrived. You have a choice. Most people wait for money to show up before they write the plan, before they set the rules, before they disciplined their impulses. They wait for abundance and promise themselves that once money comes, they'll suddenly transform into responsible, strategic, controlled versions of themselves. But hear this clearly. Money doesn't change you. Money exposes you. If you are undisciplined with a little, you will be catastrophic with a lot. If you are chaotic with pennies, you will be dangerous with paychecks. If you can't manage $1, a promotion won't save you. It will sink you. You have a choice. Wait for money to rescue you, or become disciplined enough that money becomes the byproduct of your new identity. The wealthy plan before the money arrives. The middle class makes decisions when money arrives. The wealthy make decisions before the money arrives. The middle class says, "I'll budget once I'm earning more." The wealthy say, "I'll budget because I'm earning what I have now." The middle class says, "I'll invest when I'm comfortable." The wealthy say, "I'll invest so I become comfortable." The middle class reacts to income. The wealthy anticipate income. One waits for the weather to change. The other builds the shelter before the clouds form. Let's be direct. If you are waiting for money to solve your problems will multiply faster than your income. Money accelerates everything. Your habits, your addictions, your insecurities, your self-sabotage. Money doesn't care what you say you want. Money follows structure. Money follows instruction. Money follows discipline. Money moves first for the disciplined. Budgeting is not restriction, it is precision. People fear budgeting because they think it is punishment. They think a budget is a prison cell where desire goes to die. But budgeting is not about restriction, it is about precision. Say it again. Precision pays. A budget is not you telling yourself no, it is you telling your money where to go. It is leadership. It is command. It is clarity. A person without a budget is not free. They are vulnerable. They live at the mercy of impulse. They live as servants to marketing. They live paycheck to panic, paycheck to panic, paycheck to panic. Precision pays. When you budget, you are not denying yourself pleasure. You are scheduling it. You are choosing it intentionally. You are refusing the chaos tax, the cost of financial confusion. Every dollar needs a mission. Every category needs a purpose. Every purchase needs to pass the test. Is this helping my future or hijacking it? You don't need their permission to take control. You don't need applause for being responsible. You don't need validation for prioritizing your future. It's not about income. It's about discipline. It's not about restriction. It's about precision. Athletes train before the trophy. Think about the athlete, the marathon runner, the fighter, the Olympian. They do not step into the arena and say, "Once I win, then I'll start training." They train before the spotlight. They sweat before the applause. They bleed before the medals. Why? Because the trophy is proof, not preparation. The trophy is the receipt, not the investment. The trophy is the final step, not the first. Athletes train before the trophy because the trophy is earned in the dark, long before it shines in the light. You say you want financial peace. You say you want income options. You say you want freedom. Then your budget is your training. Your debt plan is your conditioning. Your discipline is your workout. Your sacrifice is your sweat. Money is the trophy that comes after the training, not before, never before. You have a choice. Train now or sit in the stands later watching disciplined people hold what you hoped for. Stop acting like planning requires permission. Many never plan because they believe planning belongs to rich people. They think budgets are for big incomes, investments are for smart people, structures are for business owners, and discipline is for naturally organized personalities. That thinking is financial poison. Planning isn't for the rich. Planning is how the rich are created. Most wealthy individuals didn't start wealthy, but they started disciplined. They started precise. They started with a plan written in pencil, but executed in stone. You don't need their permission to plan like someone with more money. You don't need their permission to act like someone with a future. You don't need permission to stop living like survival is your destiny. Stop waiting for the raise. Stop waiting for the promotion. Stop waiting for the lottery. Stop waiting for the break. Start planning like the break is already coming, because money moves first for the disciplined. Real-world behavioral instructions. Right now, not tomorrow, 3 things must happen. 1. Write your budget before you get paid this month. Not after, before, because the money arrives looking for direction. 2. Assign every dollar a job. Savings is a job. Debt elimination is a job. Investment, even tiny, is a job. Your future is your employee. Pay it first. 3. Track daily, review weekly. Discipline loves measurement. What gets measured gets improved. What gets ignored gets expensive. Your discipline is the signal money responds to. Money is not magical. Money is mathematical. Money is mechanical. Money follows momentum created by consistent decisions made by disciplined people. When you track your spending, money notices. When you save first, money notices. When you invest early, money notices. When you control impulse, money obeys command. Because money moves first for the disciplined. The universe trusts the prepared. Opportunity respects the committed. Wealth lands where structure already exists. You have a choice. The same choice every successful person made before the success appeared. Plan first, earn second, trophy later. You now understand, money does not solve the discipline problem. Discipline solves the money problem. It is not about restriction. It is about precision. Precision pays. Money moves first for the disciplined. And once you begin practicing financial discipline, you will quickly discover something the wealthy already know. The habits that build wealth are not loud, glamorous, or exciting. They are quiet, consistent, almost boring routines that compound into power. Chapter 3. Wealth is boring before it's impressive. Boring builds, flash fails. You want wealth. You want freedom. You want security. But you want it to feel exciting while you build it. That's the flaw. Because wealth is boring before it's impressive. Let's say it again. Boring builds, flash fails. Wealth is the result of consistent, repeatable decisions that no one applauds. No one cheers for your budget. No one congratulates your lunch from home. No one admires your 7-year-old car that's fully paid off. No one sees the nights you say no, the months you say not yet, the years you say discipline first. But when the result appears, when the debt is gone, when the savings is stacked, when the investments compound, suddenly everyone calls you lucky. You have a choice. Do you want the applause of the moment or the freedom of the future? The wealthy repeat what works. The wealthy don't chase excitement, they chase results. They repeat unexciting habits again and again because repetition is mastery, and mastery is profit. Tracking, reviewing, withholding gratification. Simple, unsexy, effective. Track your spending daily. Review your spending weekly. Adjust your plan monthly. Protect the mission constantly. That's not flashy. That's not thrilling. That doesn't get claps or likes. But boring builds. Flash fails. The poor want every purchase to feel like a celebration. The wealthy want every decision to feel like alignment. They're not asking, "Can I afford it?" They're asking, "Does this support the mission?" You don't need their permission to live differently. You're not building for applause. You're building for ownership. The illusion of flashy success. Social media sells you highlight reels that have been edited, filtered, staged, borrowed, rented, or financed. The world is drowning in fake wealth. Designer shoes and empty savings. Trips financed with credit cards. Luxury cars with $900 payments and $200 in the account. Flash fails. Real wealth is not loud. Real wealth is not a costume. Real wealth is quiet, patient, strategic. Real wealth isn't the rented life, it's the owned life. Real wealth isn't weekend flexing, it's weekday confidence. The confidence of knowing your bills are paid, your future is funded, your family is protected. You have a choice. Look wealthy or be wealthy. Flash or freedom. Boring builds. Flash fails. Millionaires live differently than you expect. Despite what movies and influencers want you to believe, most millionaires don't own the lifestyle you associate with millionaire status. Studies consistently show the majority of millionaires drive ordinary used cars, live below their means, shop discounts and thrift stores, avoid flashy brands, focus on investing, not impressing. Because their ego isn't the priority, their future is. They're not in the business of buying applause for strangers. They're in the business of buying freedom for themselves. A luxury car loses value the moment you drive it. A rental property pays you while you sleep. A new outfit gets old in a week. A savings account compounds for decades. You have a choice. Turn money into image, or turn money into leverage. It's not about looking successful. It's about being disciplined. The psychology of boring wealth. People avoid boring routines because they're addicted to feeling busy, feeling entertained, feeling accomplished. But feelings don't build wealth. Systems do. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. You have a choice. Be emotionally driven or structurally driven. It's not about excitement. It's about consistency. It's not about speed. It's about direction. Withholding gratification is a superpower. There's nothing wrong with wanting pleasure. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life. But the wealthy understand sequence matters. They delay to maximize. They sow before they harvest. They build before they brag. The rule is simple. Reward comes after results. Celebration comes after completion. Pleasure comes after progress. You don't skip the work and expect the win. Athletes don't celebrate before the race. Students don't receive diplomas before the classes. Why should money operate differently? You don't need validation purchases to feel important. You don't need luxury to prove your worth. You don't need approval to live below your means. Real-world instructions to embrace boring wealth. Here's the homework, the actionable boring path. 1. Track every expense, daily. If you don't know where your money goes, it's already gone. 2. Review weekly, without emotion. Numbers are neutral. Decisions are directional. 3. Delay one gratification per month. Test your discipline like a muscle. Make sacrifice a skill. 4. Invest small but consistent. $50 invested monthly is more powerful than $5,000 invested once and forgotten. 5. Say no to image. Say yes to ownership. These 5 habits are boring. These 5 habits are freedom. The success you want lives on the other side of boring. Maybe you grew up craving excitement. Maybe you believe excitement equals happiness. Maybe you fear missing out. But I promise you this, there is no excitement like waking up debt-free. There is no thrill like choosing work instead of needing it. There is no dopamine hit like opening a statement and seeing compounding interest pay you for your past discipline. Wealth is boring before it's impressive. But once it's impressive, everyone else wonders how you did it. And the answer is simple. You did what others were too emotional to do. You chose boring consistency over exciting self-sabotage. You chose discipline over impulse. You chose ownership over validation. You now understand why wealth begins quietly, privately, without applause. No celebration, no spotlight, just discipline. Boring builds, flash fails. And once you embrace boring wealth, there's another chain you must break. The chain that kept you trapped when you didn't even realize you were a prisoner. Chapter 4. Debt is a chain you forged and can break. You borrowed the money. You don't have to borrow the identity. Debt feels permanent. It feels heavy. It feels like a life sentence with no courtroom and no appeal. But debt is not a destiny. Debt is a decision, past tense, and decisions can be corrected. You borrowed the money. You don't have to borrow the identity. Debt is not who you are. Debt is where you are. And where you are can change. You have a choice, to accept the chain or to break it. Debt is a negotiation of future energy. Debt does not take your money. Debt takes your future money. Debt takes your future energy, your future hours, your future options. Debt is the silent contract that says, I will give up tomorrow to pay for yesterday. When you sign for debt, you are negotiating with time. You are promising future labor to solve present desire. You are sacrificing tomorrow's peace for today's purchase. But listen closely. You are allowed to renegotiate. You are allowed to break the cycle. You don't need their permission to change direction. Debt is not evil. Impulse is. Discipline is the antidote. It's not about shame. It's about responsibility. Compounding interest is the thief you never saw coming. Compounding interest is the silent thief. It does not kick down your door. It does not break your window. It steals quietly, efficiently, predictably. Compounding interest works for you or against you. There is no neutral. When you invest, it builds wealth while you sleep. When you owe, it steals wealth while you sleep. Every month you procrastinate, you are paying for the privilege of owning nothing. You are renting your past decisions. You are financing your regret. You bought the thing. You no longer have the thing. But the bill still arrives every month without apology. That's the key. Debt does not need your permission to grow. Interest does not wait for your convenience. Fees do not care about your feelings. You must care. You must act. Because compounding interest is not emotional. Compounding interest is mathematical, and math is not moved by excuses. You borrowed the money. You don't have to borrow the identity. People who carry debt often start carrying shame. They start wearing debt as identity, not circumstance. They begin sentences with, "I'm terrible with money. I'll never get out. I guess I'm just irresponsible." Stop labeling yourself with your lowest financial moment. You are not your bill. You are not your interest rate. You are not your past mistake. You borrowed the money. You don't have to borrow the identity. Do not build a personality around self-sabotage. Do not turn temporary consequence into permanent character. Do not crown your mistake as your king. Debt can train you. Debt can sharpen you. Debt can mature you. But debt does not define you. Unless you submit to it. Unless you quit on the fight. Unless you accept the chain as jewelry. Breaking the chain requires refusing the story. The first chain that must break isn't financial. It's psychological. The story you tell yourself determines the strategy you choose. If you believe debt is normal, you will treat it like furniture in your financial house. If you believe debt is inevitable, you will stop striving to eliminate it. If you believe debt is part of adulthood, you will teach your children to inherit the same chain. But if you believe debt is optional, debt becomes temporary. Debt becomes a target. Debt becomes an enemy, not a roommate. Debt does not own you. Debt rents space in your life, and you can evict it. There is no freedom without ownership. People dream of freedom, but freedom and debt cannot share the same house. Debt turns no into I wish. Debt turns yes into someday. Debt turns I choose into I hope. Freedom means choosing work because you want it, not because you're forced. Freedom means saying yes to opportunities without calculating interest. Freedom means sleeping without stress, because your future isn't mortgaged to your past. Debt steals peace. Debt steals attention. Debt steals potential. But debt can be defeated. Debt can be dismantled. Debt can be destroyed. The chain you forged can be broken by the discipline you build. Generational impact, breaking the cycle. You are not just paying bills, you are rewriting legacy. If you stay in debt, your children inherit your stress. If you break it, they inherit your wisdom. If you normalize borrowing, they normalize panic. If you normalize discipline, they normalize freedom. Debt is the chain that passed from one household to the next. You can be the one who snaps it. Debt is not a life sentence. It is a problem with a plan, a mistake with a solution, a chain with a weakness. Debt is a negotiation of your future energy, and you have the right, the obligation, to renegotiate. Compounding interest is the thief that steals while you sleep, but discipline is the guard that keeps watch. Chapter 5. Your emotional spending is sabotage. You cannot out-earn emotional impulse. Let's be clear. You are not overspending because things are expensive. You are overspending because feelings are expensive. Money spent to survive is honorable. Money spent to grow is strategic. Money spent to feel seen is sabotage. There is a price to every purchase. Sometimes the price is on the receipt. Sometimes the price is hidden in your future. The object might be cheap. The emotion attached is not. That's the key. You spend emotionally when you don't feel enough. You spend emotionally when your identity leaks. You spend emotionally when you want the world to applaud something you haven't earned yet. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. But emotional spending means you're still trying to buy it. You have a choice: raise your discipline or raise your debt. Money spent to feel seen is money buried alive. Let's tell the truth most people run from. That upgrade wasn't an upgrade. It was a costume. The brand wasn't the appeal. The reaction was. New shoes, new phone, new watch, new car. None of those items fix your identity. They only accessorize your insecurity. Money spent to feel seen is money buried alive. It doesn't circulate. It doesn't multiply. It doesn't return. You bought applause. You bought attention. You bought 8 seconds of validation. You cannot deposit praise. You cannot invest envy. You cannot retire on perception. The world doesn't care how expensive it looks. The world cares how long it lasts. Emotional spending is the silent enemy of wealth. Wealth is not defeated by bills. Wealth is defeated by impulse. You cannot out-earn emotional impulse. It doesn't matter how high your income rises. If your craving rises faster, you stay broke. More money does not solve emotional spending. It magnifies it. It feeds it. It empowers it. People don't ruin their wealth because life is unfair. Most ruin their wealth because emotions are undisciplined. An undisciplined emotion is more expensive than any car payment, more destructive than any credit card, more dangerous than any market crash. The market can recover. A bad investment can recover. A broken spending habit cannot, until the identity behind it changes. It's not about money. It's about discipline. Today, you have a choice to stop feeding the insecurity that empties your wallet. The validation vacuum and how the marketplace exploits it. There is a vacuum inside every unvalidated person, a space that craves to be filled, a need to be seen, a desire to prove something. Companies have learned this. Marketing departments know this. Social media thrives on this. They sell story, not product. They sell status, not utility. They sell identity, not item. They whisper, "You deserve this. You need this." They'll notice you. They'll respect you. You don't buy the shoes. You buy belonging. You don't buy the car. You buy status. You don't buy the brand. You buy approval. But it's a trap that trades your financial future for your fragile present. They tell you to live your best life, but your best life cannot be financed. Your best life cannot require a monthly payment. Your best life cannot depend on the validation of strangers. Discipline over display. Look at the wealthy whose wealth survived, not those who flashed and collapsed. Most millionaires aren't wearing jewelry, they own the minds. They aren't showing off their cars, they're investing in companies that build engines. They aren't posting luxury, they're buying assets that appreciate while the selfies depreciate. The self-made millionaire driving a used car isn't cheap, they are strategic. They aren't hiding wealth, they're building it. They don't need applause. They don't need an audience. They don't need permission. Because wealth built silently stays. Wealth built loudly leaks. You cannot out-earn emotional impulse. If you need the world to notice your success, you will spend your success trying to prove it. Action. Stop feeding emotional impulse. This is where transformation begins. Not with spreadsheets, not with budgets, not with apps. Transformation begins when you ask, why am I buying this? Not, can I afford it? But, what emotion am I trying to fix? Here is your blueprint. Delay before purchase. If you can't wait 48 hours, it's not a need, it's a trigger. Label your emotion. Bored? Lonely? Jealous? Defensive? The price tag isn't for the item, it's for the emotion. Buy when calm, not when craving. Cravings make commitments you can't keep. Remove validation as motivation. If you wouldn't buy it unseen, unheard, unposted, don't buy it. That's the key. Your life is the proof, not the purchase. The real flex is peace. The real flex is freedom. The real flex is being unbothered by expectations, unaffected by comparisons, uninterruptible by insecurity. You don't need to announce wealth if wealth exists. You don't need to display success if success is sustainable. When your finances are disciplined, your confidence is quiet. Your life should be the proof, not the purchase. It's not about approval, it's about discipline. You cannot out-earn emotional impulse. You cannot build wealth on insecurity. You cannot create freedom while financing feelings. Money spent to feel seen is money buried alive. Emotional spending is sabotage. But sabotage is a choice, and what can be chosen can be reversed. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. You don't need applause. Stop spending to feel something. Start spending to build something. Because once you stop bleeding money through emotion, you can finally start directing money with intention. And intention is the birthplace of wealth. So now that you understand emotional sabotage, it's time to build the plan that frees your future. Chapter 6. Pay yourself first, or pay forever. There is a rule in wealth that changes everything the moment you obey it. Pay yourself first, not last, not when it's convenient, not if there's something left. First. Your future self is the first creditor. Say it out loud. The future me is the first creditor. Most people live the exact opposite way. They get paid. They spend. They justify. They react. Then they promise, next month I'll save something. But next month looks exactly like this month. And next year looks exactly like last year. Not because they are incapable of saving, but because they are saving last. You have a choice. Pay yourself first, or pay forever. If you save after spending, you save what remains. And what remains is usually nothing. Bills expand. Impulse grows. Lifestyle inflates. The world always finds something else for your money to do. But discipline says, before the bills, before the vacation, before the apps, before the restaurants, I pay me. You don't need their permission. You don't need applause. You need practice. Pay first, future pay last, excuses. You've been taught to think backwards. Society told you to spend now and save later. But later never comes for the undisciplined. Later comes with emergencies. Later comes with interest. Later comes with regret. You either pay for your future now, or you pay for your past forever. Credit cards let you believe you're escaping the bill. But the bill is not deleted. It is multiplied. Every month you pay interest, you're paying for previous decisions instead of future freedom. It's not about money. It's about discipline. Automatic drafts versus emotional decisions. Let's talk systems, because systems beat emotions every single time. If saving requires emotional strength, you're already losing. If saving depends on how you feel that day, you're already behind. If saving means manually fighting impulse, the fight ends the same way every time. You surrender. Real wealth is automatic. It's boring. It's consistent. It's emotionless. The wealthy don't save when they feel like it. They save because the system already decided. Automatic drafts are discipline in code. Direct deposit allocation is discipline in motion. The transfer that happens before you touch your paycheck is discipline in practice. When you pay yourself first, your lifestyle adjusts to what remains. When you pay yourself last, your lifestyle consumes everything. You have a choice. Let discipline move first, or let emotion move forever. Think of it like this. When your savings transfer is automatic, your money builds quietly. When your savings depends on impulse, your money disappears loudly. When your savings is scheduled, your future is planned. When your savings is optional, your future is postponed. The future you is the first creditor. Imagine all the entities you owe money to: the bank, the lender, the card, the subscription. They have a system. They have automation. They have your commitment. They make sure they're paid. They don't ask you if you feel like paying today. They pull it. Every corporation acts like its survival matters. Do you? When you treat your future self with less respect than Netflix, less urgency than your phone plan, less consistency than your car note, you declare with your actions, the future me is optional. The future me is negotiable. The future me can wait. But the future doesn't wait. The future invoices you. The future collects. The future demands compound results. You have a choice. Make your future the first creditor, or make your past the permanent collector. Discipline beats income. Let's talk about two people with the same salary. Person A gets paid, feels relieved, takes the weekend off to celebrate a paycheck they already spent in their mind, pays everyone else, buys escapes, saves what remains, ends with nothing, says, I need to make more money. Person B gets paid, transfers to savings instantly, allocates a percentage automatically, builds stability first, pays bills second, lives below emotion, has less freedom today, owns more freedom tomorrow. Person A waits for raise after raise after raise. Person B gives themselves a raise by keeping what they earn. Person A believes income is the answer. Person B knows discipline is. Because here's the truth. People don't stay broke because they don't earn. People stay broke because they save last. Action. The pay yourself first blueprint. Here is how you break the cycle. Pick the percentage. Start small if you must. 5%, 2%, 1%. The number matters less than the habit. Make it automatic, not when you feel like it, not when you remember. Automatic. Protect the transfer. It is not extra. It is not negotiable. It is not available. Increase it when lifestyle adjusts. Raise it with every raise. Grow it with every win. Practice the discipline that outlasts the excitement. You are not saving money. You are buying time. You are buying freedom. You are buying the right to walk away when something disrespects your values. Pay yourself first, or pay forever. Your financial future is not built with leftovers. It is built with priorities. The future you is the first creditor. Treat them like they matter. Treat them like survival. Treat them like freedom has a cost today, so you don't pay for bondage tomorrow. Now that you've learned to protect your future, it's time to learn how to command every dollar that arrives. Because money without direction is money that disappears. Chapter 7. Every dollar is an employee. Give it a job. You've been told money is a tool. That's wrong. Money is not a tool. Money is a workforce. Every dollar is an employee. And if you don't assign it work, it will wander and disappear. Idle money is unemployed potential. Money without direction has one destination: gone. Think about the last time you had extra money. Birthday money, tax return, bonus, unexpected check. Where did it go? Most people don't lose money because something tragic happened. Most people lose money because nothing specific happened. Money needs direction. Money needs clarity. Money needs instruction. Because money has a strange behavior. When it isn't given a job, it quietly applies for someone else's. The restaurant gets it. The subscription service gets it. The impulse purchase gets it. The sale you didn't need gets it. Idle money is unemployed potential. Unassigned money becomes someone else's asset. You have a choice. Take command of your dollars, or watch them be drafted into someone else's army. Create buckets: survival, security, growth, generosity. Wealth is not built from random decisions. Wealth is built from organized decisions. The wealthy don't ask, "Do I want this?" They ask, "What category does this belong to?" Order is the language of wealth. Chaos is the language of poverty. To make money productive, sort it into 4 buckets: every dollar, every time. Bucket 1. Survival. This is the cost of being alive. Rent, food, utilities, transportation. Notice something. Survival is not entertainment. Survival is not ease. Survival is not emotional comfort. Survival is fuel. Fuel doesn't need validation. Fuel needs function. When you treat survival like luxury, you turn necessity into debt. Bucket 2. Security. Security is not survival. Security is protection. This is insurance, emergency funds, preparing for the unexpected. Security is planning for the day you hope never comes. Because life doesn't ask permission before it changes. You don't need their permission to protect yourself, and the world will not pause to wait for your readiness. Security is the buffer between inconvenience and crisis, the difference between stress and collapse, the line between frustration and catastrophe. Poor planning turns inconvenience into emergency. Discipline turns emergency into inconvenience. Bucket 3. Growth. Growth is not saving. Growth is not storing. Growth is multiplying. This is investment. This is education. This is assets that pay you back. Growth money is money with a mission. It has deadlines, goals, and direction. Money that earns while you sleep is the money that frees you while you're awake. Growth is the only bucket that buys time. Growth is the only bucket that beats inflation. Growth is the only bucket that makes wealth inevitable. Bucket 4. Generosity. Most books won't tell you this, but generosity matters. Not because it's sentimental, because generosity is proof. Proof you own the money, and the money does not own you. Generosity destroys greed. Generosity humbles ego. Generosity tests identity. If you can't give a little, you won't give a lot. If you won't share plenty, you never trusted you'd have plenty. The wealthy who keep everything lose themselves. The wealthy who give responsibly grow further. Your money needs leadership, and leadership requires discipline. If every dollar is an employee, then you are the CEO. The question isn't, how much do you earn? The question is, how well do you lead? An undisciplined leader creates a confused organization. A confused organization produces no results. You cannot run a business by feeling. You run a business by plan, by structure, by standards. The same is true for your finances. You don't need more income to start leading your money. You need more clarity. You need more intention. You need more discipline. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you direct. Action. Assign every dollar. Here's your transformation process. Step 1. Name the job. Is this dollar for survival, security, growth, generosity? Money without title becomes temptation. Step 2. Decide before the deposit. You cannot lead money after emotion arrives. Make the plan before the paycheck. Create the percentages before the desire. Step 3. Review weekly. Leadership is visibility. You cannot lead what you refuse to look at. Step 4. Adjust strategically. Raises go to growth before lifestyle. Bonuses go to security before impulse. Extra goes to purpose before pleasure. That's leadership. You have a choice. Be a spectator of your money or become its commander. Money is not loyal to the passive. Money follows leaders. Money grows under direction. Idle money is unemployed potential, but assigned money becomes productive, useful, powerful. You don't need their permission to lead your finances. You need discipline. Because the more disciplined you become with money, the more money trusts you with responsibility. You've learned how to direct every dollar. Now it's time to increase the dollars you direct. Because you cannot grow your income if your identity remains small. Welcome to the next level. Chapter 8. Increase your income, increase your identity. Here's a truth few people admit. You cannot earn more than you believe you're worth. Not a penny, not a dime, not a bonus. Your income ceiling is set by your identity, your beliefs about yourself, your habits, your comfort with discomfort. That's the key. Skill earns, delusion burns. Identity determines income. Let's define it clearly. Identity is not a title. Identity is not a degree. Identity is who you allow yourself to be when no one is watching. If you see yourself as a worker, you will never negotiate like an owner. If you see yourself as just lucky, you will never charge like an expert. If you see yourself as small, the universe will treat you small. You have a choice. Grow your identity, or remain capped by the version of yourself that believes you are limited. Skill earns, delusion burns. You might think confidence alone will raise your income. It won't. Confidence without skill is expensive for the wallet. Skill earns, delusion burns. Someone trained, prepared, and able commands opportunities. Someone hoping and bluffing repeats disappointment. Negotiating a raise without results is delusion. Charging for value you cannot deliver is delusion. Dreaming of income while avoiding responsibility is delusion. But learning the skill mastering it, demonstrating it. That earns. That earns respect. That earns compensation. That earns freedom. You don't need permission to improve. You don't need validation to charge what you're worth. You need courage, discipline, and repeatable excellence. The ceiling effect. Why most people plateau. Income stagnates when identity stagnates. It's simple. Someone making $50,000 believes $50,000 is reasonable. They may hope for more. They may fantasize about more. They may pray for more. But identity doesn't pray. Identity acts. Without expanding who you see yourself as, you will never ask for a raise that feels uncomfortable. You will never accept a side project that challenges your ego. You will never invest in learning that costs effort. Growth is impossible without identity expansion. Income follows identity. It is predictable. It is not negotiable. Examples. Raising income by raising identity. Let's talk practical examples. Negotiating raises. You cannot ask for a raise you don't believe you deserve. Stop imagining they might say yes. Stop waiting for permission. Prepare, document results, quantify impact, and ask with the authority of someone who knows their value. Building side skills. A single high-value skill can multiply your earning potential. Learn coding, learn marketing, learn management. Skills expand identity because they expand confidence in reality, not fantasy. Charging what value justifies. Stop charging what you think is safe. Charge what your work actually delivers. When your clients see results, they will pay for results. Confidence without delivery is a trap. Value-backed confidence is unstoppable. Behavioral instructions. Expand your income identity. Here's how you do it. Document your impact. Write results, numbers, wins, evidence. Confidence backed by proof is authority. Seek feedback aggressively. Find mentors. Ask tough questions. Accept hard truths. Improvement comes faster than excuses. Practice negotiating. Start small if needed. Raise a price. Ask for additional responsibility. Negotiate a schedule. Every success stretches identity. Invest in skill consistently. Read, learn, practice, build. Skills compound faster than luck. Operate above comfort. Income expansion lives in discomfort. Promotion, side hustle, premium service. Uncomfortable at first. Discomfort is temporary. Identity growth is permanent. The hidden cost of not expanding. Most people fail not because the market is unfair, not because opportunity doesn't exist, not because they lack intelligence. They fail because they refuse to expand their identity. They say, "I'm not ready. I don't know enough. I can't charge that." Excuses are invisible taxes on your life. Excuses pay nothing, compound nothing, and change nothing. You cannot out-earn self-imposed limits. You cannot out-earn avoidance. You cannot out-earn hesitation. Identity growth is non-negotiable. Think of it this way. Your income is a reflection of who you are allowed yourself to be. You want a bigger paycheck? You must expand your capacity. You want a new opportunity? You must expand your courage. You want financial freedom? You must expand your identity beyond comfort, fear, and doubt. Stop hoping. Stop praying. Stop waiting. Act, learn, negotiate, deliver, repeat. Here's the truth. Momentum beats perfection. Income increases when identity expands. Identity expands through action. Action is imperfect. Action is repetitive. Action is uncomfortable, but inaction guarantees stagnation. Inaction guarantees limitation. Inaction guarantees a lifetime of wondering, what if? You mastered your habits. You managed your money. You disciplined your spending. Now it's time to expand your earning potential. Because identity sets your ceiling, income follows, and momentum beats perfection. Chapter 9. Momentum beats perfection. Perfection is the silent killer of progress. Perfection waits for clarity that never comes. Perfection waits for energy that never arrives. Perfection waits for conditions that do not exist. Meanwhile, the world keeps moving. Opportunities are claimed. Competitors advance. Dreams drift away. You have a choice. Wait for perfect conditions and watch life pass by, or start now, messy, and gain momentum. Start messy, build momentum, clean later. Partial progress creates a psychology of capability. Small steps are underrated. Partial progress is underestimated. But every tiny action produces psychological momentum. When you take one step, your brain sees possibility. When you make one call, your confidence grows. When you finish one task, your identity expands. This is how competence is built. This is how confidence compounds. This is how progress breeds progress. Waiting for perfect is waiting for permission from a world that does not care about your readiness. Waiting for perfect is the road to procrastination. Waiting for perfect is the silent death of ambition. You have a choice. Do the first thing imperfectly. Do the second thing better. Do the third thing with refinement. The 1% rule. Daily incremental wealth. Here's a mantra to internalize. Be 1% more wealthy today than yesterday. Not 100%, not 50%, not even 10%. 1%. 1% growth compounds into unstoppable momentum. It compounds into skills, into knowledge, into savings, into confidence. It compounds into identity expansion. You don't need permission to start. You don't need perfect conditions to act. You don't need clarity to begin. Do one small thing, just one. Tomorrow, do another. Incremental progress accumulates like water on stone, slowly, persistently, inevitably. Start messy, the secret to real progress. Messy work is authentic work. Messy work is visible, tangible, and real. Messy work produces data, insight, and results. Waiting for neat solutions keeps you in theory. Waiting for flawless execution keeps you in fear. Waiting for perfect timing keeps you in excuses. Start messy. Write the first draft. Launch the first version. Pitch the first client. Make the first call. Action beats waiting. Look at entrepreneurs. Most successes weren't perfect launches. They were iterations. They started messy. They improved as they learned. They adjusted as revenue and feedback arrived. The first product failed. The first presentation flopped. The first offer was declined. But every small attempt built muscle. Every attempt added speed. Every attempt increased resilience. Psychology of imperfect action. The human brain rewards action. It punishes procrastination. Each imperfect step reduces anxiety about doing the next one. Each incomplete task produces insight for the next. When you wait for perfect, your brain waits too. It stalls. It convinces you that preparation equals readiness. It convinces you that insight equals opportunity. Action equals progress. Progress equals confidence. Confidence equals income, skill, and freedom. Behavioral instructions. Build momentum now. Here's how to start. Commit to a micro-step daily. Invest $10. Write one page. Send one email. Move one forward. Use the 1% mantra. Be 1% more wealthy today than yesterday. Make this your lens for every decision. Progress, no matter how small, is non-negotiable. Measure results imperfectly. Don't wait for perfection in tracking. Record progress honestly. Adjust based on reality, not theory. Refine later. Polish, optimize, perfect only after you've created momentum. Iteration beats contemplation. Execution beats waiting. Momentum is the real currency. Perfection produces paralysis. Momentum produces freedom. Momentum produces growth. Momentum produces resilience. The wealthy understand this intuitively. They don't wait for flawless insight before investing. They don't wait for perfect timing before launching. They take imperfect action consistently. Momentum carries them past fear, doubt, and uncertainty. You have a choice. You can wait. You can plan endlessly. You can perfect your strategy in theory. Or you can act. Imperfectly. Consistently. Relentlessly. Now you've learned to manage money. You've learned to protect your future. You've learned to direct every dollar. You've learned that identity sets your income ceiling. Now, the final step. Repeatability. Momentum alone is not enough. You must systematize it. You must teach it. You must make wealth repeatable. Because wealth that cannot be repeated cannot be sustained. Chapter 10. Wealth is repeatable and teachable. You can make money once. You can earn a fortune once. You can stumble into a windfall once. But true wealth? True wealth is repeatable. True wealth is teachable. It doesn't die in numbers. It doesn't live in bank accounts alone. It lives in systems, discipline, and habits. Wealth dies in silence, but multiplies through systems. Wealth is discipline, not just dollars. Most people focus on the wrong thing. They chase dollars. They hoard money. They worry about growth. But money alone does not guarantee lasting wealth. A millionaire who spends impulsively today may be broke tomorrow. A millionaire who knows nothing about systems will lose everything when life changes. True wealth is the ability to transfer discipline, not just dollars. Discipline is teachable. Discipline is repeatable. Discipline survives beyond you. Money is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Your goal is permanence. Legacy through teaching. Wealth that cannot be repeated is wealth that ends with you. True wealth is generational. Do not underestimate the power of teaching. Teach children, teams, partners, anyone who relies on you, the language of resource management. Teach them to assign every dollar a job. Pay themselves first. Resist emotional spending. Value growth over flash. Teaching is not optional. If you cannot pass on discipline, you cannot create legacy. Wealth that dies with one generation is wasted potential. You have a choice. Leave a story of wealth, or leave only a story of loss. Systems multiply wealth. Systems are not glamorous. Systems are not flashy. Systems are boring. But boring builds empires. Systems make wealth repeatable. Systems make success predictable. Think of the wealthy you know. They have checklists, spreadsheets, schedules, and allocations. They do not guess. They do not rely on memory. They rely on discipline embedded in structure. Every process, every habit, every routine, systematized. Money moves predictably. Risk is minimized. Growth compounds. Real-world application. Make wealth repeatable. Here's how to make your wealth repeatable. Document the process. Write down every method you use to save, invest, and allocate. If it's not documented, it's random. If it's random, it's vulnerable. Automate decisions. Systems win because they remove choice under stress. Automatic transfers, recurring investments, and scheduled budgeting remove emotion from money. Consistency compounds faster than brilliance. Teach as you go. Share your knowledge. Walk others through your systems. Answer questions, review mistakes, reinforce habits. Refine and repeat. A system is not static. Test, improve, optimize. Every iteration strengthens repeatability. The danger of silence. Silence kills wealth. Money that sits unused dies in value. Knowledge that isn't shared dies in ignorance. Habits that aren't repeated die in inconsistency. Many wealthy people fail to create systems. They die and their fortune collapses. Many teach nothing. They leave heirs unprepared. Discipline cannot be inherited by dollars alone. It must be modeled. It must be taught. It must be repeated. Behavioral instructions. Make wealth teachable. Here's how to embed repeatability. Identify core principles. Pick the 3 to 5 financial principles that govern your life. These are non-negotiable. Demonstrate through action. Talk is cheap. Show how to pay yourself first, assign every dollar, and invest for growth. Assign responsibilities. Teach partners or family members to handle money using the same methods. Shared responsibility reinforces learning. Review together. Schedule check-ins. Celebrate progress. Correct mistakes publicly, not shamefully. Reinforce habits. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Systems must be repeated until they become second nature. The mindset of repeatable wealth. Wealth is not a sprint. Wealth is a culture, a mindset, a discipline. If you measure success only in dollars, you will fail when dollars fluctuate. If you measure success in systems and habits, you will thrive regardless of circumstances. Every dollar is a worker. Every habit is a machine. Every lesson taught is a seed. Plant seeds, train the workers, build the machines. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The wealthy do not rely on luck. They rely on process. Process is repeatable. Process survives failure. Process multiplies. Wealth that lasts. You have reached the final chapter, but the work does not end. Discipline is transferable. Wealth is repeatable. Systems are eternal. If you do the work, teach the work, and repeat the work, you create a legacy that outlives your lifespan. Wealth dies in silence, but multiplies through systems. Repeat it, live it, teach it. You have a choice: accumulate and watch it fade, or systematize, teach, and watch it grow. Because money is temporary, discipline is permanent, legacy is unstoppable. Here's the 1-minute closing script for the entire audiobook, crafted in the same authoritative, direct, repetitive coaching style. Listen closely, because this is the bottom line. Wealth comes to the prepared, not the hopeful. Discipline beats desire. Systems beat chaos. Momentum beats perfection. You have a choice. You can spend impulsively, borrow freely, and hope for luck. Or you can pay yourself first, assign every dollar a job, build skill, and act imperfectly but consistently. You can create repeatable, teachable wealth that survives mistakes, survives crises, survives the test of time. This is not theory. This is action. Start messy. Build momentum. Repeat discipline daily. Your identity dictates your income. Your habits dictate your future. Your systems dictate your legacy. So here's the challenge. Do the work that others avoid. Control the money that others waste. Teach what others hoard. Make your future inevitable. Now, get up. Start today. Command your money, your habits, your identity. Wealth comes to the prepared, and the prepared act relentlessly.